Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Venus in the third house in the natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the Venus placements in houses. They're a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up, well, Venus in the third house is comparable to Venus in Gemini, but naturally you got to blend in the zodiac sign with it. I mean, if you have, say, Venus in Aries in the third house, can be a lot different than Venus in Libra in the third house, as an example. Now, Venus in astrology is connected with what we love and enjoy. So naturally, if you have Venus positive in the third house in your natal chart, you may be very enamored with communication, disseminating and assimilating information, expressing yourself in an articulate, eloquent manner. This could be a good placement for money that is made through writing. Um, it could also be strong love and enjoyment just for variety, expressing versatility, manual dexterity. Had a friend of mine a number of years ago that had Venus in the third house in the natal chart. His Venus and Leo in the third house, and he was, very, proficient in auto mechanics and made money doing so. Maybe the Leo influence, indicated he wanted to be, someone that was dominant, basically, in that field. And he was very good. He had Gemini rising, which played a role as well, obviously. But anyway, a person may have more of an enjoyment, for short journeys, more so than most people on average, and matters with vehicles as well. Whether it's collecting them, working on them, or whatever it might be. Now, Venus in astrology is also connected with relationships, including our significant friendships. So when you have Venus posited in the third house in the natal chart, you may desire relationships and important friends that are cerebral and intellectual. You may desire more intellectual stimulation connected to these people more so than most others, and also too, the relationships and important friends you have for whatever reason. They may impact your connection more with siblings, cousins, and neighbors more so than those. And it could be that you may form a number of friendships, important friendships with your neighbors with this placement. Going back to that friend I told you about before with Venus and Leo in the third house, he was very, he seemed like practically wasn't anybody he didn't know in his neighborhood. So, and gregarious Leo, so go figure. But anyway, now the connections one may form, though, a number of them may be superficial. We are talking about the third house, which corresponds with Gemini, but it could also be a variety of people that the person may have connect with during the course of their life. But these people may also be very versatile, but maybe mercurial, very loquacious and talkative as well. Now, another thing about Venus in astrology, it's associated with money. So Venus in the third house, well, could be very shrewd in monetary matters. They may have an uncanny ability to extricate themselves out of a financial pickle, so to speak, when necessary. Money may be things, monetary matters, person may easily be able to, articulate and talk about. There may be a lot of, dissemination and assimilation of information connected with monetary matters. Money may often be spent on short trips and vehicles as well, things that are car related. But money may also be, may not always have stability. It might be, a mercurial monetary situation, but the person may make money as well doing something with communication or something connected with manual dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics. Now, Venus is also associated with our values. So, as Venus is positive in the third house in the natal chart, the person's values may often be tied in to gathering information, being informed about the news, communication in general, having writing ability, dexterity, and things that are they may value their connection with siblings, cousins, and neighbors more so than most people on average as well. The early education can be something that the person they put more emphasis and focus on. And the thing about this too, and also the children's friends as well, because this is the 11th house from the 5th house of children. So it's like the children's friends may be something that you put more importance on, and you may, if you do have any children, you may be more, have more of a concern about who they're connected with, their friends more so than most people on average. Now, Venus in astrology is also associated with our self-worth, self-esteem, and how we feel about ourselves. So when Venus is in the 3rd house, well, the early education, how one performs during this time can be instrumental in one's self-worth. If the grades were above average, then the self-worth and self-esteem may be at least adequate. But if this is a person that has this placement in their natal chart and they struggled somewhat during the time of the early education, then self-worth may be strongly impacted adversely by this. Now also too, the self-worth may be strongly be connected with the connection with siblings, with neighbors and cousins more so than most people on average, and the ability to articulate things, to assimilate information, to disseminate it in intellectual activities and things that are of a cerebral nature. Now, this is a person too that may desire, more peace and tranquility, with their neighbors more so than most people, on average. And another thing too about Venus in astrology, that it's associated with our possessions. So when you have this placement, this is a you may have variety of possessions, and it might be all different all different things, and more variety, manifold possessions more so than most people on average. Ones you may have a lot of communication devices, things of a cerebral nature, learning tools, whatever it might be, whether it's software to enhance whether it's memory, intellectual ability, or what have you, communication skills. Those are possessions that may be more emphasized with you more so than most people. And also things associated with your vehicle, whether it's parts for cars or what it may be. Maybe you have more than one car. uh, but another thing that is connected with this placement is that, okay, Venus is about our latent talents and abilities. So when you have this Venus in the 3rd house, latent talents and abilities may be tied in, to dexterity, being proficient, in positions that require, extensive use of the hands. Writing, speaking abilities, being able to articulate things, assimilating and disseminating information. But the thing about it is you may lack the persistence in the development of these, because we are talking about the 3rd house, which corresponds with the zodiac sign Gemini. And also too, you may be a skilled driver with this placement as well. And also, but you got to guard when in your communications, because sometimes this placement can indicate superficial charm, just to get what one wants from another person. Now, Venus in astrology is also associated with the food we like to enjoy and indulge in. So when Venus is in the 3rd house, again, that variety comes into play. Fast food, actually, being, well, not really being flippant, it sounds like it, but I would say the fast food, because this person may be the kind of person who likes to eat and almost drive practically at the same time. I'm not saying you should do that or supposed to do that. I don't think that, even if that's lawful, you got to confer checked on the internet. That's not but whatever it is, that's what the person may be inclined to do, or a person may stop at a fast food place and eat very quickly, get out, and then go on to their next order of business or what have you. But anyway, it could be, the person may be more into like that smorgasbord potpourri, the buffet type food where the person has a very wide selection of what he or she may be, able to eat. Food enjoyed may be more, in the company with siblings, cousins, and neighbors more so than most other people on average. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.